So welcome to another Friday Night Live Q&A. We are in the fish room here and glad to be here with you guys. Lady LRB, welcome bronze member. LRB or Lady LRB showing the love. Thanks, my baby. Appreciate you. We go ahead and get in the live chat. Toodles, all right. Toodles already says Snape, but whatever's. See you later. So, anyways, whole reason why we do this is to help you guys out with whatever it may be with your freshwater aquariums. Now, I don't have much, let's say, experience with saltwater, so we don't really do that. But as far as freshwater goes, been doing this a long time, and I've done it like every which way you could. As a matter of fact, I've got one of the most unique fish rooms that we're in right now here, and you guys are allowed to ask me questions anytime about whatever. And if you don't make it to the Q&A, always feel free to leave a question or comment in the video, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, because I do stay pretty busy around here, more or less working on other projects, which, as many of you guys know, I've been working on this enclosure outside, and we are getting the tops in now. And framing out the tops and screens for the enclosures kind of time consuming, but with your guys' support and orders, thank you so much for all your guys' orders and supports on LRBAquatics.com. Your guys' orders are out now. Has put me back into a position where we can start funding that again, and super excited about it, and really hoping to make some ground this weekend. So I can't wait to show you guys like the finished project and actually put the full video together for you guys at how I built that. I think that'll inspire a lot of people, not only with aquariums, but just like keeping birds, keeping iguanas, lizards, reptiles, turtles. Like there's all kinds of stuff you can put in a closure like I'm building that could give your loved pets more space than what they may already have. And anytime we could give our pets more space, all the better. Matter of fact, if you look at my tanks, right now, well, a lot of them shrimp. There's not really anything up in those two, just a few rainbows in here. But I don't tend to smash a bunch of fish into my tanks just because I do like them to have space. It's my favorite thing to do is give a fish space. But good to see you guys all in here. Hello, hello. Even Wesley says hello. What's up, buddy? Hello, spicy fish friends. I'll be back. Okay. Anybody got questions? Can you keep bees like caridina bees, crystal bees? Um, in this tank, I actually have a bunch of bees in there. I do have to have more of the activated soil or the humic soil, the like acidic soil, whatever you want to call it. Um, there's all kinds of names for it. But anyways, they will breed, but they breed really slow. If I have like just sand or like eco complete or a different substrate that's not buffering acidity into the aquarium, then the bees don't tend to breed for me at all. They'll live in there at least for a couple of years, but they just won't breed much. So if I do want to breed bees, I've got to have that more acidic substrate. And I think that's mostly just due to the fact that I have KH in my well water. I use well water. It's got 170 TDS, which is about the range for bees. But it does have, I'm sure, I haven't never tested it for GH and KH, but I can guarantee there's probably close to as much KH in it as there is GH. I got a taste of it one time, put my finger in it, I could tell. I got to that point here with water. Believe it or not, you actually can feel the difference of water. So, say you have really hard water and you've been working in that tank for a long time, and then you change it over to soft water. If you're in tune to yourself and um, your body, like you can really feel the difference. believe it or not. Kerry Bratton, good to see you in here, buddy. Says, what up? Have work tomorrow, but catch you on the replay. Thanks. Our tanks look awesome as always, brother. Stay grinding. He got me with that question mark, but that's all right. I'll be reading like Ron Burgundy on these chats here. If you don't know who that is, I feel bad for you. Go watch Anchorman. You missed me. Where'd I go? I've been here. Doing things. Oh, so last Friday, yeah. For you guys that didn't know or didn't know, last Friday I did not make the Q&A, and the whole reason why I didn't make that Q&A is I ended up get up catching a little bit of the cold that Wesley and Lady LRB had, and I just did not want to do a live with the runny nose. That didn't sound like a whole lot of fun. But definitely been staying busy here. I've actually been working on doing water changes, trying to get things cleaned up. So I've got these tanks scraped here. That's like one of the main maintenance things I really got to do like once in a while. But I got to get to working on these. I got some baby maculosis up there right now. I'm real excited about. Just move them. Oh, buzzy bees. Let's see. Root says received my plant order and everything was great. Much love. Well, from Mississippi. Much love back to you too. Thank you. Thank you so much for the order and the support. Definitely helpful. And really, it's kind of amazing because um, I do this all by myself, and I don't ever say like I in my videos so much, and I always say we. And I really got to thinking about it. I'm like, why do I really say we? Well, not really. Like I got to thinking about it, but it reminded me of the other day, I should say. So I'm gonna share it with you guys because you guys are the we. Like we build this together. Granted, I'm the body, I'm the movement, but without you guys, honestly, I've said it many times, like we could not have done this alone. Or I couldn't have done it without you guys. So once again, thank you guys for your orders. It really does make a big difference. And it's going to be really interesting to see where this like journey really goes because it's been kind of a crazy journey. And my how landscapes change too, so it makes it more interesting. B Green 8315 says, "Do you have any of the endlers you created? They were awesome." So the Rainbow Tiger endlers, I do actually have a bunch of them. I believe there should be some still in stock on my website. If they're not in stock on my website, go ahead and send like contact us, like an email or something, and just say you're looking for the Rainbow Tiger Endlers. There's a thing on the website just directly. You could type on it. You'll see it at the bottom of the home page. And I've got some backups. I got quite a bit of those I'm sitting on. Because I haven't offered them in a long time. And now I'm like really got some numbers going. So I feel better about releasing them. For you guys that are new here and haven't been following me for years, I'm a bit of a fish hoarder. Wolftoe says, hello, Wolftoe. Says, how long can I grow out 15 Conga Tetras in a 20-gallon tank before moving to a 50-gallon tank? Well, I don't know. If you already got the 50-gallon tank, what's holding you back? But if you want to know like the longest, and it really depends on you're doing water changes, that many Congo Tetras in a 20-gallon, I would recommend at least a monthly water change. That's quite a bit of Congo Tetras. They do grow fairly quickly. I would say like 6 months to a year. And it really depends too. Is it a 20 high? Is it a 20 low? You know, I don't know which one would be better, honestly, because 20 long is going to be more of like a creek, like a small like stream where they have at least space to go back and forth. 20 high, I don't know. That's not a lot of back and forth space for 15 of them. That's kind of crowded. That's pretty crowded. Honestly, I probably wouldn't do it for longer than 3 or 4 months. The more I think about it, sooner you get that 50 gallon, the better. Let's just say that. That's a lot of Congo Tetras in a 20. Literally looking at my 20 highs right behind me, like thinking about 15 Congo Tetras in them. Just like, that's a lot. But then again, you'll have fish stores where they just cram them in there, and you could. I don't know how big yours are, but they can get like they get pretty big pretty quick. Rosie says, "Do you have a favorite plant right now?" I would say pearlweed's always been like my one of my favorites. I don't know. I would say a lot of them are kind of my favorites. Like between the sage, the Luigi archeata, the Spilosa crypt back here, and then the pearlweed was probably my favorite. I got guppy grass galore. Yeah, as far as like what does well in my fish room now, there's other plants like tonia plants and stuff for like aquascaping and whatnot that I would love to keep, but they kind of need CO2 and a little more care than I can give, and more water changes. I know with like no water changes and no filter, it is kind of hard on plants. So when it comes to like easy, like super easy plants, like what's on my website, you can't really get any much easier than those plants because they've been pushed to the limits as far as trying to survive and grow because plants really love water changes. And I don't do a whole lot of water changes right now or haven't. I'm trying to do it more frequently, which actually in turn just creates more work for me because then I got to scrape glass more, it seems. But, anyways, when you do water changes, those plants really grab the atmospheric gases that are being poured in from your water line. That's why you'll get pearling when you do water changes. Same thing if you pump enough CO2 in it, but then again, you're drugging your fish when you do CO2 because that gas can be um, an intoxicant for them to where they actually do get like a drunk sensation. Big reason why I don't use it for fish. If I was like more plant oriented, that's a whole different deal. And certain fish, like they can gulp air from the top, but still they're ingesting that CO2. Hard for them to get away from it. But when you do those water changes, it gives them all that atmospheric gases, and it does help grow them out. So saying that, if I would actually stay on more of a maintenance schedule, there's a lot more I could keep in here. But what is in here is like the tough stuff. Jackson 5322 says, "Let me start with I'm not trying to crossbreed anything, but I have a red neon blue eyes and dwarf neon rainbow fish in the same tank and get fry that show up sometimes. Can I pull them and raise them?" You are right about being cautious on breeding them out. It is looked down on big time with interbreeding rainbow fish, just due to the fact there's enough really beautiful rainbow fish out there naturally. Um, I'm not saying that people don't do it. China has done it with a lot of the rainbow fish. They create some wild stuff over there, and I will never support that myself. I understand beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and I prefer the wild strains. But saying this, and if you don't plan on hybridizing, and like if you do, just don't sell them, I guess, or give caution because I don't know. it's a slippery slope. I'm not one for like rules and stuff so much, but I feel like that's a good rule just to keep nature how nature is. And I don't, although I play with guppies, so I can't really say much. Matter of fact, I actually thought they were hybrid fish, but it turns out they were Cali rum. I had thought I hybridized some, and I sat on them for years without even messing with them because I was worried about it. But yeah, I would say just grow them up if you want to. See what they look like. You may just have like a normal fry of something. Um, I wouldn't like continue to do that so much. Or if you want like a separate tank just for the fun of it, like I, for me, and I know for you guys, I'm sure, aquarium keeping is about the journey. Like, granted, you got one tank or hundreds of tanks, it's all a journey. Like, I journeyed from that one tank. I journeyed up to 13 tanks. I journeyed up to 30 tanks, so on and so forth. But it was things like those little things that would make me be like, okay, maybe I need another tank. And you know what? In the long run, it was worth it. At least for me. I get to do what I love. And life is short, so do what you love. Mhm. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to speed read the best I can here. Kelly Key says, anyone raising breeding in Farlowella? So that one is going to be one more for the chat because I haven't personally bred them. I actually do have a video. Regina Spotty, her fish room tour. I believe it was the last one I did, and she was raising them up, and she was talking about how she feeds them. Um, she was feeding them like 5 times a day, just like hand feeding them because they're just real picky eaters. And that really got me thinking. Like, what if they had some molmy, like kind of broke down leaf litter? Not like a brand new leaf where it hasn't broken down yet. One that's marinated for like a week or maybe 2 weeks in the aquarium. Hold on, I gotta fix this camera. So it's got like biofilm on it. It's already kind of breaking down. What the heck? What's my whole thing? It's just slowly fatiguing on me, giving up. But yeah, that leaf litter, that molmy breaking down stuff, that detritus you get out of it, that is the kind of stuff is more of their natural diet. And it would offer them more of a live, cleaner food. And believe it or not, that's a lot of fish's gut biome, especially those like sucker types of fish. But I would recommend that fish room tour, Regina Spotty, Spotti. Very good fish. Like one of my favorite fish rooms out there. The species she has and what she works with, just all right down my alley. Cool, weird stuff. Gary Steen says, how big do trout Gideons get? They live bearing. My local fish store has them. Just wondering if they're compatible with anything else. So I've actually never kept them with anything else, and they do say that you shouldn't keep them with anything else. So I don't know. People say a lot, but I do like species only. Let me go ahead and show you how big they get. This is about as big as they get. These guys are full adults. Oh, teased you. So I mean, they're roughly like 4 inches, I would say. Pretty little guys, about as big as they get. Let's see. Um, yeah, yeah. Find these questions. Farhan Farhan Iskandar says when I try to not water change for first month, some of the fish getting fin rot. Do you have a solution? I don't know how clean you're keeping your tank, but often if it's too sterile, and usually if you're not doing water changes, it gives like the water this natural kind of like film and coating that is really beneficial to fish. A big reason why I do it like this, because when you get sterile water, it can burn their skin and biofilm off. Their natural like stress coat is also what they call it. Um, but if it's happening, if you're not doing water changes, I don't know. That's weird. That's weird because it shouldn't be happening. Your water should be marinated and seasoned to that where that shouldn't be an issue, unless there's something in there causing it to look like fin rot. So fin rot can also be from like nipping. Fin rot will often look like a secondary infection because, or like a cut or wounds healing back or trying to heal back. So it could be a potential of nipping. Hmm. Or aggression or just something else in there causing it. And as far as what something else would be like maybe hookworms. It's really hard without looking at the tank to see if there's anything micro, like small in there that shouldn't be in there. You got cloudy water or like white cloudy water? That'd be another question. Right. Yeah, usually if you're not doing water changes, that marination of the natural microbiology of the water actually supposed to help with that stuff. I'm finding it surprising that that's the issue. All right, maybe introduced fish brought in. Yeah, often that tends to be the thing as well if you get fin rot into a tank like that. But I don't know. Did he introduce anything? Who knows? I am at the bottom of the chat, so if you want to give me more information on that, then we can further dive into it. If not, I can wait to answer it or anybody else's question in the meantime. And if anybody else doesn't want to answer or ask a question, then I'll just keep rambling. Christian B says 55 watching and only 18 likes. What's up with that, y'all? I don't know. Maybe they don't like me, or maybe they don't want to see me succeed. But besides you guys that do hit the like button, I appreciate you guys. Much love. I'm just giving them heck. Just hit the like button, please. No. Kelly Key says I use water changes and keep an eye out for parasites. I use methylene blue and Paragard when I see symptoms or when I transfer fish from patio pond. Yeah, I mean that's the best way. Keep eye out for stuff. I'm not so much a fan of methylene blue or Paragard. I don't really treat a whole lot of meds. Really, the only thing I really treat so much is would be like worms, wolf toe. But also, I am very picky. Like I get my fish from other hobbyists and like the club, and so like my fish tend to be free from, I don't know, ick and other stuff. Wolf toe says, "Do you think my baby Congo tetra, almost an inch, one bigger, can be in same tank as new Lucipennis?" You know, I think they would be all right. At only an inch, and you know, the Lucipennis probably only a couple inches. I would say they'd be good. Yeah, they'd be good in there. Just give your Lucipennis somewhere to hide. So put up like a little rock hut or something for that Lucipennis to hide. That would make a world of difference for that Lucipennis, just in its comfortability. When it comes to keeping our fish, comfortability is key. Numero uno. Tanya H says, I have a question. If you scroll back a bit, red question mark. Let me speed read here. Back, back. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. See it saying hi to everybody. Let me double check. I am in live chat. Be sure. I'm not seeing it. I want to ask again. Sorry, did not get to it. Yeah, if you want to ask again. Yeah, I sped read that. I don't know how many times. I sped read that probably about as many times as a woodchuck could chuck wood. That's for sure, Hove D. Well, thank you, Imrods. Appreciate that. You too, JDS. Appreciate that too. Jeff Kane, that's my man. Says I want all fish breeders to succeed for sure. Like more people we got breeding fish, the more conservation we are truly really doing in this wild world of ours. And I know some people are like, I don't know, should we even be keeping these fish? Why are we doing this? Yes, we should be keeping these fish because mines like to be made, things like to be dumped in rivers, and COVID likes to happen and create supply chain shortages. So the more American breeders we have, hey, merrier. From Enthal Media says, also, do you have any neocardinas available? I just got some carbon release. So I do have some really, really nice neocardinas. I've been working on my lines for people who followed me for a long time. They know I've spent years and years on my shrimp lines, and I'm actually really, really well known for my neocardinas. I have awards for them, and I've been a judge for many a shows. So if there's one thing I know, it's definitely those Neos. And that blue dreamline of mine. Forget about it. Wayfo says I started putting single drop of meth blue in my new fish bags when I float them before they go in. Any issues you see with this? Personally, not a fan of methylene blue, and I know there's so many people who use methylene blue, so many people that talk about it, and often see my viewers dip down when I talk about methylene blue because I'm not a fan of it. Matter of fact, people will take methylene blue. It has been proven to like stain your brain, stain your spinal cord. It'll stain your equipment. Um, I'm not a fan of it. It's just like it's creating a automatic sterile environment. And I did all that stuff before, and just not a fan. So me personally, I don't use it. If I were to get new fish in, I'm definitely not gonna just put a drop of methylene blue and add it. Like I can see the thought and ideal for it because like you're trying to sterilize the water before you put them in. Best thing to do, because you're also putting that methylene blue in the system. What's that doing to your microbiology? If you have a nice mature tank, it's not going to mess with that microbiology a lot. But if you're just trying to start your tank and it's just newly cycled, then that microbiology can take an impact and hit from it. And yes, I know I've got some gnarly tanks back here. If you got questions about that, I am all open about talking about them because to me, gnarly tanks are the most interesting. This one's more or less gnarly because I can't fit my arm in it to scrape the front of it. But yeah. So if I were to get new fish, I'd do something what is called fish baths. You can do it with your aquarium water or dechlorinated water. I put a carbon block on my house line when I had tap water, city tap water, so I can just give my fish baths. So I pretty much wipe all the water that they came in from away. That way, it just completely gives them a wash, and then you're only adding the fish in. So when you're only adding the fish in and not all the stuff that comes and hitchhikes within that water and bag, it will save you so much heartache. I'm telling you guys this, and I've preached it, I've showed it so many times, and I will continue to have to do so because that just seems to be my job. Which is funny, I was never a big fan of repeating myself, but I'm learning that I've really got to do that. But if you really want to know about fish baths, type in LRB fish baths, and it will give you like full on showcase of going through the whole motion. That'll be a lot better for your fish and your tank's ecosystem than dosing things into it. It's like when people get new fish and they just start chucking meds in. Like the things that you do to your fish when you just start chucking those meds in when you first get new fish, which that may have already happened to them maybe once, maybe twice, maybe three times between them getting shipped from another country, them getting to a wholesaler, them getting to a fish store. Those fish have been medicated, and sometimes they're doing it right, sometimes they're not doing it right, and then you go to do it again, and then their immune system at that point is so tainted by all these meds that it can make them really susceptible, especially to like newer tanks. When you get them to old, like these dirty old fish tanks, it's not as much of an issue because they like bounce back into their natural form sooner, just because of the connection and microbiology within the aquariums. But if you're putting them into like a newer cycled, like sterile tank with that immunity and dose of meds on them, and again, it's hard on those fish. Not to mention with their stress levels at the time. And once again, why comfortability is important, even in quarantine tanks. All right. Sonny G1 says, Lucas, did the ropefish do it yet? You know what? In the tank that they're in, matter of fact, we'll go look at them a little bit. Let's get up here. Um, I don't know if they ever will, to be honest. I don't know if I keep it warm enough for them. Oh, such nice moss, but then ruined by hair algae. My nemesis. One of my biggest problems with my water is my iron, which that algae just absolutely loves. But look how tucked in this guy is. That's the rope fish he was talking about. But look at this setup. You would think they would breed in here. This is about as cush as it gets. Maybe I should throw some more shrimp in there because that is one of their most natural diets. But I was hoping they would throw some eggs and some babies would go about. But believe it or not, these guys are super smart and they actually weave into these rocks all over the place. They've got like tunnel systems and stuff. It's crazy, like how they can get around in those rocks. Look at him just chilling. Like, granted, he's just on the surface, but I've seen him completely disappear under those rocks. But yeah, no babies yet. I wish. I wish. Lord knows I've had them long enough. I don't even know how old they are anymore. They're probably like 10 years old at least. Little cutie pies. There's actually two more in here. We're only seeing half of them. I have been thinking about giving them a new tank just because I want this tank for something else. But then at the same time, I'm like, no, I kind of love these guys in this tank. I'll check this out. I shouldn't show this to you guys, so I'll just show you briefly. What's up, little buddy? The reason why I'm not supposed to show you him is because I got videos on me coming out with him. I'll tell you more of the story of why he's in there. So we'll get to that soon. But yeah, little Oscars there. Dun, dun, dun. Find me some questions here. Think dog dewormer a cure for cancer now? Well, as far as being a cure for cancer, it really depends. There's a lot of cancers out there. Definitely can't cure them all. But I think a lot of people don't realize that they could be carrying parasites within themselves. Many countries, it is very common. And what's the term I'm looking for? It's a common practice, either way, for them to deworm themselves every so often. In America, we don't really talk about that because, well, they don't want to fix solution or fix the problems, so they give you other things, and it's in the diet. People got them. You should definitely think about taking care of your health. But as far as curing cancer, I can't say nothing on that. I am not a doctor. Feed away we go, fish. I love these guys. These are my little minis, my runts. Whatever happened to that huge tiger lotus you had? Oh, I had to get rid of that. That thing was just madness. So, one thing about plants, for instance, this is one of those plants where it's just too big to ship. So, this is a mulmanite crypt. As a matter of fact, I may do a special thing because shipping one of these is going to dang near take up one of my boxes. If you look up here, those smaller boxes down there, that's taking up like half, if not some of them whole. And that tiger lotus was one of those plants. And sorry, it's a wreck in here, working on that project outside. But that tiger lotus was one of those plants where they just took up so much space. So I kind of decided to take it out of the repertoire. But that thing was a massive monster. The one that was in that 240 thing was insane. Sorry if I'm missing anybody's questions. I'm doing my best trying to stay in order here. Kelly Key says I use a lot of RO water and my water changes about 4 parts. Let's see, 4 parts to 1 part domestic water. Also, the fluval wall stratum to buffer the water to about 7. Is it buffered to 7 though? And how soft is or hard is your domestic water? So, believe it or not, actually, less bacterias, funguses, even predators and hitchhikers live in softer water. So harder water feeds that stuff a little more than softer water. So the fin rot, I would definitely watch the behavior of your fish and see if there's any issue with like that. That would be the main thing that I would think was be causing that fin rot. Barhanger Man says, for all your tank, how often do you do water change and do you remove plant 2, remove all nitrate and sort of that? So recently, this was completely covered. Matter of fact, they just had like their trail here and a trail up here. eat. They like it like that. They still don't really swim much into that space. But you know, after it does take over the tank, it is good to kind of half it every once in a while. I never fully take all the plants out, kind of like I did with this. And you know, when you do, sometimes the water gets a little cloudier because there's not as much to uptake, and or a lot of that debris falls off the plants that you move, takes a little time to settle. Like you can see where I removed it, and there's all these bits of where the guppy grass has anchored and planted itself. But as far as water change, I wish I could do it like a 20%, 25% a week, but I go months sometimes, if not years on some of these things. So I don't do a whole lot of water changing at all. You can tell. Ooh, look at that Velosa Crypt with just the ambient light and those dimples. These are freaking awesome. You see, I got a little chunk out of it. Well, this ain't gonna show because, oh, not to mention all the plants up there. Brought to you by Lady LRB. Ooh, blackworm's in the fridge. That's nice. Like the Rolls Royce of fish food. All right, let me get a seat here. Because I get to looking at these tanks, I'll be getting distracted a lot. You guys know how it is. Okay. Read. Scanning. Can we just take a moment to appreciate that you're able to see this live, right? Right, for real. Because for the longest time, like you guys that are just coming in, we have been waiting to be able to live stream in the barn. Excuse me. We have been stuck in the house for the longest time. Although there's some nice places to go live in the house. It's nicer to be able to wander around here. And Chris Stowell, thank you, buddy, for the $20 super chat. Says that shirt is taking me back to the 70s. Love it. Keep it uptown. Good work. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it. It's one of my favorites, a little Rafiki action. As soon as I saw this, I was like, yeah, I can't go through life without that. I've had it for quite some time. Matter of fact, one of the first talks I did at Aqua Show, I was wearing this. I don't think I ever wore it for a live. I may one other time. I can't remember it. That's why I wore it today. I was like, I've never worn it. I don't think. But enough about my high fashion. Get to your questions. Wolftoe says, oh, I already answered that one. Tanya H says, don't want to go through all that again. Short of it is any idea why your blues aren't reproducing like your reds and some pumpkin orange I have. Your tank is right next to the oranges. I couldn't tell you. Hard telling. Maybe they're just not. Have you had them for very long? Maybe they just gotta like have time to get more comfortable. I will say that like my reds are crazy prolific. Blue Dreams definitely aren't as prolific as the reds are. It could just be the simple fact that maybe your reds and your oranges just are really prolific. Or just got to get your numbers up. I don't know how long you've had them. Christian says, I've been doing the LRB fish bath technique since I saw one of your videos. Well, I hope it's been working good for you. Like, it really made a big difference for me. I know that much. From from Enthal Media says I ran three 40,000-gallon tanks. Greenhouses in South Louisiana, huge organic tilapia farm, recirculated aquaculture, a water chemist, and specialize in water quality. Yeah, that's a whole different ballgame when you got 40,000-gallon tanks. That's a lot of space for error compared to like smaller aquariums. But yeah, ever want to talk about water chemistry and quality, especially if you want to bend the ear of someone who looks at it a bit differently. Always feel free to ask questions. I got way back up there. Scoliosis. Oh, what? Kinky Kong guy says Daisy rice fish are still viable on the website. Please, if you guys see the Daisy rice fish, please do not buy the Daisy rice fish. Oh my God. For some reason, AI keeps wanting to put Daisy rice fish onto my website. Only thing. Not to mention, it deleted a bunch of my descriptions. I didn't want AI on my website. They forced it upon me, and now AI is just being awful silly about what it's doing. And I'm saying silly because those are the pleasant words I'm choosing. Um, yeah, please don't buy the Daisy Blue rice fish. Matter of fact, I need to get some Daisy Blue rice fish. Much as I've seen some of you guys try to buy them. I thought I had that fixed because I finally put my featured products on there. I have to double check it, but thanks for letting me know, Kinky. That's been a pain for me. Elf Puncher says, is it possible for a tank to be too tall for a juvenile Cory, 2 foot tall? You know, depends on the Cory cats, but Cory cats do love to go from the bottom up to the top. And in nature, they tend to be in shallower waters and not so much deeper bodies. So when they do have to go from the bottom to a tall top, sometimes it probably, I don't know what the pressure really does for their internal organs at that kind of space. I don't know if that even really matters, but it definitely could be more of a workout for them. But, that's just going to make them stronger. I don't think it would be an issue though, 2 foot tank. I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts? I've never did 2 foot tank, but thinking about it, like that's not much. It's about like what this pond is. Probably about 2 foot. Corey cats easily could handle that. For sure, ski. I love that, Gary. Gary Steen says goldfish are oddest, unfiltered, normally highly filtered. But not really, though, man. Honestly, a lot of this, I'm just taking it back to classics because a long time ago, all this filtration didn't exist. I'm just a species of amnesia remembering and actually having the balls to try it. Not saying that other people don't. A lot more people trying it. And and I think a lot of that actually stems from water like clarity. For instance, like goldfish, they love to pick at things. So if like you got a dirty, molmy tank, like they can pick and create a lot of like lesser visualization through the clarity of the water. So I mean, I understand the reasons for filters. And it could definitely help with that. But the running of a muck of, oh no, this is the only way you can do it, was just a little excessive. Luckily, we know that there's multiple ways we can keep them. Let's see. Dr. Rich asks, "Hi LRB, I live in Bangalore, India. Planning on connecting my fish tanks into aquaponics system. Your thoughts, please." I mean, I think that's great. So if you have like output when you do your water change, and your water's got to go out some way and feed a garden, why not? Like, if you want to do that with your system, that the stuff that like the fish waste, this is why like they use tilapia. You can do the same with aquarium fish too, because the waste that they produce, the ammonias and whatnot, like it feeds plants like crazy. Plants absolutely love ammonia and fish waste. Now, as far as like how you're wanting to do it, are you wanting like a continuously wet bed? Do you want a wet dry bed to where you can kind of turn it on and off? It all depends on what you're growing. But if you got like specific questions, I'm here for you every Friday, and or just leave a question on one of my videos. I'm all about helping you guys. That's literally why I do this. Na, 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 na. I could just be old and retired if I wanted to be. I'm glad to hear those fish bass have been helping you guys are ballsy enough to do it. It's really not hard. So easy. Well, thank you, Kinky, for the order. I appreciate that. For sure, for sure. You are welcome too. Glad you like the new streaming location. It's definitely better. Definitely a lot more tanks to look at. And we'll be changing it up here too, like maybe here in the future. There's so many spots now to do lives from. Like this tank right here. That's all anacris. That needs thinned out. That thing is, excuse me, jam packed. Oh, excuse me. Man, those sliders sliding around in my belly. They're good though. A little pulled pork. Or was it pork? No, it was pulled beef. I was about to say, I don't really eat pork. I think I don't really eat much of. Bar Hangerman says, "When I change brand of fish pellet, my fish rarely get sick. Do you think some brand put dangerous things to our fish food?" I don't know. Um, I've tried so many different foods in this fish room, just here and there. My fish are so picky about what they eat that they really only eat one thing. It's like the one thing they crave, and it's those tropical granules, which I know isn't like the best food for them. If I could do all live food, that'd be a different story. It'd be blackworms all day, but not really feasible without adding hitchhikers, unfortunately. Because often, if you order blackworms, you're guaranteed to have hydra and planaria and other flatworms and nematodes in with them, unless you actually grow out your own. I wish I could, but they would get eaten so fast. Eventually, I would like if I had enough space, I definitely would have a table set up just for them, and do plan on it here someday. But we got to get another barn going. Bruce D says, "Hey Lucas, I'm thinking about building a rack that will hold 20 long on the bottom, then two 29 gallons, then another 20 on top. Would that work, or should I stick with the same size tanks for each rack? So you want to go you want to go one row of 20s on the bottom, then you want to go 2 rows of 29 gallons, and then another row of 20 long. That's going to be a tall rack. I think you should do the math on that, and like you could do the 20 long and then 129 and then 120, another 120. You could go 3 levels high with those, and it's not so tall. So for instance, let me flip you around here. Reason why I have a lot of 20 longs in my fish room is because I've got collectoritis and I want her to go as tall as possible. So that's 3 20 longs high. That's 4 20 long highs. And I've got to jump to feed that. A 40 gallon, 40 gallon, 40 gallon. 75s and 40s actually match up pretty well with themselves. 29 gallons or more like the 20 high, a little higher. So you can see you go 3 there. And I got to jump to feed those. This one, yeah, I got to jump a little bit. These 20s, I don't have to so much, but I'm 6 foot. And those are 20 highs. So I can only go 3 high with 20 highs. And 29's taller than that. So if I were to go 4 rows on a 20 high, that's insane. I went 4 on these 40s, and you can see these tanks don't really have anything in them. There's actually a breeding pair of Wanamensis in this tank, just because I could throw them in there, let them lay eggs and babies, and I didn't really have space for them. But those are about the most unfunctionable tanks I've got in here. Besides this middle one that I cannot get in to clean because my arm just won't fit in there. So yeah, that's a little overview of tank sizes, racks, what you can and cannot fit the space for, I guess, or how I looked at it. And Silent, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. It says, could I community breed Cypoleptosoma in with Placos? What kind of Placos? I don't see why not. They would defend in their mouth brooders. So I think they would. They should be all right. It depends on the Placo. If it's a real bully type of Placo, they may have some trouble with it. And he could just kind of bully his way to the eggs. So it really depends how small of a Placo. But if you really want them to breed, then I would just completely take that Placo out of the equation. Then you're pretty much guaranteed. Those types of fish do really well in species only. And Bruce D, I hope that helped you out with your decision there. Howdy partner, do you just the way I read that. Howdy partner is his name, but I like that. Howdy partner, do you ever get overwhelmed with the thought that in the event that life will make you have to take down your fish tanks? Well, shoot, partner, I don't know. Try not to think about that stuff. Actually, I do think about that stuff all the time. Matter of fact, when I'm building out there, I'm like, do not shove the drill through your finger. You do not want to have to deal with that, not be able to do stuff, or do not fall off the deck up there while you're doing work, because who else is going to take care of this? But, hopefully never have to worry about that. I thought you were going to ask me if I ever get overwhelmed having all this stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Just the amount of time that it took me, I will tell you this. The amount of time that it took me to put all this up, I couldn't imagine taking it all down. Like it would have to be sold like my old house. Like somebody would definitely buy it for sure. This is like a business, the fish farm at this point. Granted, I'm not the best businessman or fish farmer, and just like to keep aquariums and hard fish. Um, it's still got a lot of value to it. It'd be a shame to have to take it down. Let's see. I'm not sure what an NFT system is, Dr. Rush. Sounds like you've done some research in it. It's on your roof. Is that like getting the rainwater? Or the actual aquaponics is on like a flat roof? You got one of those flat roofs with aquaponics on. I'll be officially jealous because I've always wanted a flat roof. Matter of fact, I've got ambitions here to turn another level up here on this barn and put a flat roof on it with like a crow's nest. I would love to do like a aquaponics up there. And if that's what you're doing, sounds awesome. And with that 4 to 6 hours of direct sunlight, that's about all you need. About with any garden, there's always something. Like every climate has what it can and cannot grow. But just find out what grows good for you in your area. Like for some reason, sweet potatoes down here go bananas. Hard to grow dang near everything else. Can't even grow tomatoes down here, but sweet potatoes all day long. Kim and Carl Selke says, I want to get some of those rare cribs that you have. What's your thoughts on them shipping to Arizona? I mean, no issue with shipping. Matter of fact, um, well, I guess it's not colder now. I was going to say, with it getting colder, it's been easier, but we haven't had any issues with shipping. We ship all year round. And, yeah, shouldn't be a problem. And if you do actually end up buying more than one, I do try to keep them connected for you too. Braveheart says, "Hey LRB, would it be all right to keep shrimp in a 4 gallon planted tank?" Yeah, I don't see why not. Can't say I haven't done it. Well, I keep them in more of a 5 gallon, but that's like a gallon difference, at least for my quarantine. Tanya H says, ordered May 2024. Oh, it's been like a year plus. My TDS is 147. Ooh, that's kind of. I would add some uh hardness to the tank. So neocardinas prefer more over 200, and that's more softer water. So that could be the issue. 74, 78, that's what they grow up in. They do like it more towards the cooler side of that, like more towards 74 than 78 when it comes to breeding, when it comes to the neocardina shrimp. I would get some GH booster, throw that in with them, because they do like that hardness. Yeah, Wafu says we bought blackworms yesterday and there were multiple leeches in the bag. Yeah, every time. That'll always be. It's because they grow it all together and it's mass produced, and there's just it's really hard to quality control it. And for somebody like me that sells plants, I just can't do it because then I would be shipping all that stuff to people, and I don't want to be responsible for that. Some people understand it, some people don't. And less emails I get, the better. That's why my motto is like, just don't give them room to talk. and unless it's going to be good. So I try to treat you guys how I would want to be treated as well, being a hobbyist. Many reasons why I do what I do, and that's one of them. Kim and Carl says, I have massive amounts of Vienna guppies. I have posts on Craigslist, but what are your thoughts on how I should sell them? Have you tried going to the fish store and at least getting some kind of credit and or money? I know some fish stores have a good relationship with their wholesalers. Now you may not get much out of them, but you could offload them that way, and or send me an email. I'll sell them for you. AZBC says, how are your remaining mascara barbs doing? Oh, they're like just shut off. But I did show them earlier here in this live stream. They're doing pretty good. I recently pulled half their plants out. The plants were going bananas. But hopefully, we get this enclosure done. We may try breeding them out again this next year. So I'm hoping to do that. What, Hove D? What are you saying? Just wanted to ask y'all to pray for Kenny E. He's in bad shape. What the heck? I'm telling you that. Don't let that be real. Kenny E. You've been a buddy forever. What? Gary Steen says, "What's in the sunken pond outside at the moment?" Was that Oscar? Currently, there's nothing in there right now besides frogs and tadpoles. I don't know why the heck the frogs are having babies now and putting tadpoles in there. Oh, where the hell am I? Kinky says, "Oh, I have a question. I'm thinking of buying shop lights for my breeder rags for my rices till pond season. I live in Massachusetts. I was going to use lamps with reptile heat bulbs in there. Well, they will heat the surface up a little bit. I don't know if you're going to actually use you're going to use actual heat bulb. I know you can put like regular bulbs in there. Matter of fact, with those clamp-ons and you use like compact fluorescents, oh my god, the plants you can grow with those things, phenomenal. But if you want to use a reptile heat bulb, just you got to be careful with those reptile heat bulbs. I don't know how much light it's really going to put off for them. Anything like that for a shop light. So these are all shop lights. I try to get something towards a 6,000 Kelvin or 6,500 Kelvin temp. That's really good for the growing and vegetative state of plants. Um, and these are these are less than $20 a piece, and you can daisy chain them. You can get them on eBay, you can get them on Amazon. Just type in 4-foot 6,500K shop light, LED shop light, or just type in shop light. They're all LEDs these days. Oh, that's cool, Doctor Rish. Nutrient film technique. Huh. Plans to grow leafy greens and few veggies. Nutrient film technique. Huh. I mean, I guess that's like a biofilm or something. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. I don't have a whole lot of experience with it. I looked into it, thought about doing it many a times, but I always realized I just didn't have the time to do aquaponics because I do have outflow systems and I do have a drain where all my water drains to. That would be just perfect for that. But then I would also have to do my water changes on a schedule. That way I would make sure that the plants did get their nutrients. But I guess even if they didn't get like that nutrient rich water every time, all the time, they're still going to grow better than if they were just growing with regular water, because that wastewater that they get is that's kind of like nature's fertilizer, nature's miracle grow, just more natural, a lot more natural. All right, I think we're getting close to the bottom here. And sorry if I missed anybody's question. I don't think I did though. I think I got them all. And I'm at the bottom. Last one's here. Eddie St. Clair says, "How often do you feed, and what do you feed, sir?" So I feed tetracolor tropical granules, and I feed it once a day. And once in a while, I'll skip a day just so they can eat on what's in the tank. Like there would be a lot less algae if I didn't feed them as often. But I like my fish to get their proteins in. I do feed them. And I feel like you should feed your fish every day. I would want to be fed. I don't want to always fast. How many of us want to not eat during the day? Would love to see you highlight some local fish stores. I have a couple a while back. I just don't go out to them very often at all. Sorry, I'm just looking at this goldfish. What's he doing? He's like eating the biofilm or something. Oh, he got bubbles on his head. What are you doing? Oh, he's just making bubbles. That was weird looking, dude. Had me wondering about you. Over here blowing bubbles or eating biofilm. Alright, well, I'm going to hop off here. I'm ready to just chill and take it easy. I got a bunch of screens to make for this enclosure tomorrow. I'm going to be rested up for that. But I appreciate you guys all joining me, asking your questions. Hope I helped some of you. Until next time, everybody. Peace. Have a good one. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Hey, what are you doing, you big boy? Dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Always leave like a baby or two behind each batch when these breed. So when they do colony breed, they're not all interbreeded, and that they have a nice solid line as they get older. Little things. Love you guys. Till next time.